Well, howdy there, folks. Figured I'd pop on here real quick. I might need a haircut, man. Damn hat don't fit quite right on my head. Son of a gun. I can get to be like a hippie. Yeah, right here. You see this little mark right here? This one right there. Yep. My hat blew off. Of course, my dog, he retrieved it for me so I didn't have to chase it. That's a good dog. A little harder on my hat than I'd like to be, but don't matter. Anyhow, got on here for one reason. I was watching a enterprising young man. I think he worked for Ford. He's a master tech. Channel Ford Boss Me or something like that. He was doing a little experiment with cleaning your engine. You know, some of the sludge and stuff out of the engine. So, it looked like it was working pretty good. He uses some Marvel's Mr. Oil. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of other stuff out there on the market today that's maybe even better. I have no idea. I mean, if you change your oil regularly, it usually is pretty decent. You know, the engine stays pretty clean if you run a good quality oil. Well, I don't know if you could run a crappy quality oil. I think all of it's probably pretty good anymore. But anyhow, with that said, it's all subjective to what you're doing. You know, if you're working the engine hard, you need a little heavier duty oil. If you're just driving the thing back and forth to work, you know, if it gets hot out and you're running there and stuff like that, you might want to change the oil a little sooner, or maybe put a stabilizer in it, you know, to help because oil will break down faster. In the wintertime, run a little thinner oil, maybe because cold starts. I mean, if it gets cold. You can check all that stuff out with experts, or so-called experts. But the point here is he was he cut the oil filter up open, and it looked to me like the oil filter is probably plugged. And when that happens, the bypass opens up, and it doesn't filter the oil; it just sends it back through. My thing is if you're going to do something like that, you should probably buy 3 or 4 filters. Pull the filter off, you know, dump the thing out, see how it flows. Maybe, you know, like I said, if you can, look down inside there, see what it looks like. Use your own judgment, but you're probably better off changing the filter. Not the oil, just the filter. And then add, I mean, what the filter holds depends on the size of the vehicle, but let's say it holds a quart. He was calling a 20% mixture. So, you know, you put in, 80%, you know, 20% Marvels when you refill it to take up what the filter used. But the fact is change your filter. You know, if you're going to flush an engine out, nothing wrong with it. Just pay closer attention to your filter so you can change your filter out more frequently, because it's catching all the particles and it'll plug up the media, and that's exactly what you want to do. I mean, you really don't want to, if it plugs up, it's doing its job. But just change the filter out, you know, I mean, you know, I don't know, 100 miles, 200 miles. I mean, just check it. If it looks okay, dump it out. If it looks okay, you might just stick the damn thing back on and save yourself a filter. If it looks pretty crappy and you cut it open, it looks bad, it's like, oh man, maybe I need to change this thing out every 100 miles if it's really bad, or 200 or 300, whatever you decide to do. However long you decide to run it. You have to use your own judgment on this stuff. But like I said, the fact is, you know, it's not a bad thing. Kind of the same way with transmissions. You know, they say not to flush the transmission. That's usually using a machine that forces it through the transmission. You know, get a little pump deal in there and kind of forces it through. I've always found it was easier if you really got a transmission that dirty. just buy a 5-gallon pail, put the inlet, the side that sucks in the pail, the other side in another 5-gallon pail, the return. And when the return gets clear or starts looking like good fluid, it's done. And then pull the pan. Then drop the pan. Keep track of how much you took out of the pan. Change the filter. Clean the pan all up and everything. Put it together. And then you'll know how much you've got. If you put it in a fairly clean container or another 5-gallon pail or whatever, you'll know if you took out 2 quarts, 3 quarts, 6 quarts. And you can put that in. And you're alright. You don't have to second guess it. But you still want to check it when it's hot to make sure. But then, hey, look, your torque converter, all your clutch packs, the whole 9 yards has been cleaned out. And the car did it. The engine did it. The pump did it. You didn't. Some guys say, "Oh, don't do that because it can slip." Well, if it's that far gone and it starts to slip when you do that, and it's not much longer for this world, it's gonna go. I'd rather it go knowing what I know instead of saying, "Oh man, this is a great car, drive across the country and it leaves you stranded." I'd rather know it's not that good of a transmission and get the thing fixed or get another transmission. Probably would you rather something break down close to home or in your driveway? Well, that's all I got to say. I mean, it's not really a rant. It's just kind of things I've been through, There's a lot more to things, but I don't feel like sitting down for 2 hours talking about it. So, hey, you folks take care now. Hopefully you're enjoying the day. Like I always say, be kind and generous to each other. And always remember, thank the man upstairs. Without him, we got nothing. I mean nothing. So you folks, you have a good one.